Hello, my friends. Welcome to Creatives on Camera, where we help you take what you teach and build an online teaching business. Today, I think you've got one of my favorite interviews ever. We are with Hannah Cole of Sunlight Tax. And you might think, oh, tax is boring, horrible, whatever, accounting. But seriously, what Hannah does for the world and for creatives especially is so needed and so important. And she makes it beautiful and fun and wonderful. This is stuff that you really need to understand. We talk about accounting, we talk about money mindsets, we talk about being a professional, being a business. And we get off into some of the weeds as well, talking about online course platform comparisons and about starting a business and what that is like. I know you are going to love this. Let's jump in. Hello, friends. We are so excited to have you with us today, especially because we have something a little different, but kind of really vital to every one of your businesses. We have with us today Hannah Cole from Sunlight Tax. She runs a money boot camp that I took a few years ago that was phenomenal. So I'm so grateful she was able to come here. And we're going to talk a little bit about money for businesses, specifically for creative businesses like ours. Hannah, say hi and tell us a little bit about your background. Who are you? Why did you end up where you are now?
Sure. First, thank you so much, Lyric, for having me. And hi, everybody. Um, I'm an artist. I've been an artist for 20 years, and I always wanted to be an artist when I grew up. So this is the primary part of me. But later in life, 10 years into my art career, I finally got so mad and frustrated at the sort of interaction with taxes.
Mm.
From being treated, when I went to my dad's accountant, he was like, "When are you going to get a real job?" And like stuff like that happening to me. And
Ouch.
as you know, as a creative person, like you are running a business, but money and taxes are not exactly what you like want to do with every minute of your day. You'd rather do the creative work or build your audience. And so I just felt like this is a thing that people like me need. I'm just going to go back to school. I'm going to start this business. Like I had a real vision for starting my business, Sunlight Tax, because I was like,
Oh.
the creative community is why I'm here. Like these are my people. This is my community. We need this and it doesn't exist. And I'm just going to go do the thing and make sure that creative people have this information about just like how to handle your taxes, right? Because it doesn't need to be as hard or as insulting as it had been for me.
Right. And I get
Yeah.
that we're like visionary twins, have this idea and a goal, and you see a need that is desperate, but nobody's filling that hole. And
Yeah.
so you set out before you started learning how to do the thing. You knew you wanted to do the thing.
Totally. And isn't that the magic? I mean, like just for the why driving all of us, like me with
Mm.
Sunlight Tax, you with your teaching academy, like isn't that what we do that's magic about us is like we have that vision. We see the thing and we're like, I know the road there might be rocky, but I'm going to figure it out and I'm going to make it happen. Like that to me is the magic of being a creative person.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So how did that go? You're a fine artist, you're a painter, and you had this vision, and you had to. I mean, learning accounting, learning taxes is not a light subject, and it's not a just hey, let's go to a couple weekend classes things.
Oh
How
no.
what is the journey you took to where you are today?
Sure. Well, it went really all the way back to school. I enrolled at Brooklyn College. I was living in New York at the time. Um, and yeah, so just like started the training from ground zero. um, and I think what I like about that is just like I actually really experienced needing to do my taxes from the position of knowing nothing about it and being really confused and not being able to find the information. So I think where that served me well is that, or helps me serve others, is that like, I know what's confusing. I know why it feels so horrible. And like, I'm really trying to solve for that.
Yeah, you've walked the walk. Understanding the
For sure.
problem that you are solving for your people that you serve is kind of core to everything we do.
Absolutely. And it's a lot of like building the business Sunlight Tax has taught me so much about running my business as an artist. So I have a million lessons in that. And yes, understanding your audience and the need that you're serving. I think sometimes we get a little disconnected from that as creative people, but that is equally important, if not primary. So, yeah.
Yeah, right. And it's interesting that you learn this lesson for one part of your life or your business, and you work at it and you get better at it. And even though you have all these interests and ideas for other things you really want to be doing too, as well, in addition to, you learn it for that one part, and it applies and helps you build and succeed at the other parts of your life and your businesses.
Yeah, absolutely. That is the thing.
Let's talk just a little bit. You do a lot about money mindset as well as very, very, very practical information for artists, mostly in the United States, but a lot of the information is just general good information, accounting practices, and I love your savings and money mindset kind of things. If you were talking to an artist who has always just been like you were, I don't know what to do with this. I don't know how to manage my taxes or just in general my money. Where do you start with them? What do you see as their biggest problem that they need to fix, or the mindset that they need to work through and change?
Yeah. I think one of the mindset things that can be so deep you don't even realize it's there is having a negative attitude about money at all. Like just identifying if that is true, because I think a lot of us, it is kind of true. And there may be little indicators in language that you use. If you use the word sell out or eat the rich, or, the phrases like that kind of reveal like, oh, the rich are over there. I'm not part of that. I don't want to be a part of that because there's something negative there.
And especially for creatives, it kind of feels like as soon as you tie money into it, that word selling out, right? That you're becoming commercial instead of authentic.
For sure. And I think the good news is these things can be teased apart. They don't sure, there are a lot of jerks who are rich. Like, that's true. But there's jerks who are poor too. Like, it's not the richness that makes someone a jerk. They just have a bigger amplifier. And I think the important part to tease out there is money is an amplifier. So that really is true. So if you are, a wonderful person serving people in a beautiful way with an authentic voice, money can help you do more of that, reach more people, do a higher quality of work, have a higher quality of focus, attention, and care. And these are wonderful things, and money amplifies that. So I think what's important here is just, what is it you're trying to amplify? Do you want to amplify what you have? Like, there can be, and especially with people who are, socialized female, although of course this can apply to any gender. We do get some meta messages about staying small. So sometimes there is a fear of amplifying. There is a fear of kind of like stepping out on a larger stage. So
who am I to think I'm good enough to
totally
do this big thing? Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. How do you dig into that, and what do you like? How do you overcome that kind of idea?
Yeah. I mean, it's a big project.
Of course. There's a whole course on it. Tell me the whole course in 30 seconds or less.
Yeah, but I do think at the core of it is what is your vision? Like, what is that vision that you have for the thing you want to do in the world, whether it's the people you serve, the way you want to serve, the objects or the teaching you want to serve with, the connections you want to build. If those are the important things to you, think about what amplifying that could look like, could feel like. Like, that's the place I think to lean in, because money is a tool to make that go better, stronger, smoother, be able to hire out the parts you don't like, or do more of the parts you do like.
Or even do more good in the world, right?
Absolutely.
I love the idea of it being an amplifier if we are coming from a place of service. And that's what most teachers are doing, right? Most of us have worked hard to develop something that will make other people's lives better and easier and happier, joyful, more creative, right?
For sure.
Teachers were bringing that creativity into their lives. And, we can do it better and more and expand our reach, and also, if you're the kind of person who puts your resources into your community, imagine how much more you could do with the amplifier of a decent income, right?
Absolutely. And also, and just to tag, and one more thing, I think we tend to, when we have a really negative money mindset and sort of see money as over there and evil and wrong, we tend to be really busy, like underpaid and overworked. And I also want to just point out that money can equal rest.
And it's so true. You mentioned that if you and your business are profitable enough, you can have other people do the things that suck your soul out of your heart, right?
Absolutely.
You can take off those times. You can have, as a teacher, you can have more time to actually make the things that you want to make, right?
Yes. There's some mindset challenges in those things. You're hiring your first contractor, hiring your first employee. Like these things can have their own little, new level, new devil.
When we're expanding and growing our business with more income.
Yeah. It can really increase the quality of your work, right? Like, just to use myself as an example, before we got on camera here, we were talking about like hiring out parts of the podcasting process, right?
Right.
I think most people who listen to your podcast or watch the videos are here for your brilliance, Lyric, right? And your personality and your unique perspective. Well, so that's kind of like the golden egg that you want to care for. And like, who's holding the nest around it, that can shift a little bit, right? So like, does somebody like edit the sound quality? That doesn't have to be you. Like, that is outsourceable. And like, the more somebody is doing that work, the more you can be putting your personality and your love and your unique perspective into your shows,
right,
or your teaching. So,
and now it is not easy and carefree to get to this point as well. There's risk involved in taking some of the income you're bringing in to send it out for other people, but it allows you to pour more time into the things that only you can do, right?
Very much.
At the same time, there are phases of building a business, right? There's the time when you've got your systems working, you've perhaps got other people taking some of the load off. It's never super easy all the time. But before that, while you're building, for instance, when you are first learning how to do your filming or learning taxes and accounting, and then the time where you're building and trying to reach your audience, building the course in between of that, and then getting out to people, that building phase is a boatload of work. And it can be exhausting, and you have to keep, it's the thing where overnight success takes about 20 years. Right?
Oh yeah.
You have to, tell us about that middle part of your process of actually, instead of telling us what's in your business, tell us how you manage building your actual business.
Sure. Well, if we're talking about me specifically, actually, I'll tell you one of the things that when I was first getting serious about building it, but wasn't that far down the path yet, one of the things that I kind of messed up or would coach myself around now is that I would try to take in a lot of like podcasts and read books and like watch courses and things on how to build my business well and authentically from people whose perspective I felt was ethical and like authentic and like in the way that I wanted to do my business. I made the mistake sort of not understanding the length of the timeline. I sort of thought it all had to happen now. And I mean, good news, bad news, it's not going to.
Yeah. It doesn't all happen now. It's definitely a long haul.
It sure is, but also like I feel, you know, it's really worth it. Like doing those hard things are really worthwhile because I remember like I hired a business coach and I think I'm her longest standing client at this point. I've been with her for I think like 8 years because I had this moment. I was not making very much money at the moment that I hired her, and it felt very risky and very scary.
Right.
But I remember just doing enough self-work to realize that I do better fulfilling promises for other people than to myself. And
Good to know.
yeah, and I'm not alone. I'm sure people listening were like, oh yeah, I know that one. And I realized if I have a coach and I can make the things I need to do for my business, if I can turn them into homework for her, I will do them. But if it's just for me, nobody knows and it can fall away. And I was finding that I wasn't holding myself accountable quite as well as I needed to. And I realized that that coach could kind of both cheerlead and drill sergeant me. And it turned out to be very worth it because that is exactly what it was. It was like I would get homework every week. And ironically, that homework was for my own self. Like I'm the one it benefited. But I was like, I've always been a good student and good at getting an A. And I was like, okay, I'm going to get an A. And it was awesome because like finally I was doing it for me. So,
right.
Yeah.
Very good. Your business is an online course. Tell me the other parts of it.
Sure. Yeah. So that is my primary
Offering.
My primary offering and my just it's where I pour all my love is this program called Money Boot Camp. It is sort of multiple videos and there's also like a spreadsheet bookkeeping system that is included with it. So that's kind of, and then like a live quarterly session about how to calculate and pay your quarterly taxes.
Right.
And yeah, so that's the primary. I have some free things that I offer to sort of like build my list, you know, like offer a valuable thing and get people kind of into my universe.
And it's a higher end course, right? So it is offered on the launch model, I believe, right?
Yep.
So you offer something, you're always offering something to get people into your system, into the top of your marketing funnel. And then you offer a free webinar or something to bring people in and really show them the value of what you have to offer, which then leads to a time limited opening of the course. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's exactly how it works.
How did it take forever to get that going?
I mean, in a way, it evolved over time and it's improved over time.
Right, as we do.
Yeah. I mean, originally, like the evolution of it is that I started out, my original thought for Sunlight Tax was, I'm just going to do artist taxes. Like that's what I offered. You're just going to do it
yourself.
Yeah. And turns out that is a pretty rough business because it is hard to do. It is hard to do the amount of diligence that is like literally required by my license with the IRS.
It's also not scalable.
No, and it's a commodity. So I mean, that's sort of an economic term. If you're not familiar, like a commodity is something where like there's like a a floor, or like the price is kind of like not able to get, you can't charge that much for it. Like people have an expectation for like a price ceiling on a tax return because there's H&R Block, right? And there's TurboTax. And these two organizations kind of set the mindset of all customers where they sort of are like, well, I shouldn't have to pay more than I would pay H&R Block. And you're like, yeah, okay, but except that they're like a huge corporation that like can lobby Congress to actually like change tax laws, and I'm just a practitioner. Like we're really different. So I realized that it's just incredibly hard to be profitable.
Trading hours for dollars is, I mean, it might fulfill you. It's like teaching a class in person, right? It's amazing and lovely and wonderful and rewarding, but you only have so many hours.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, even teaching a class is a little more scalable because you're teaching multiple people, right? The sort of really not scalable version of that would be one-on-one teaching, right? So if you get a classroom.
Private coaching.
Yeah, exactly. But then, of course, like you can expand out where like if you teach a recorded video, it's sort of unlimited and unbounded by time.
Right. And pre-recorded things on demand can be evergreen and expand as much as you want them to, right?
For sure.
They're never, like, I hate saying entirely passive income, right? Because you're either creating content or you're telling people about the content, right? You have to do both no matter what.
Oh, yeah. I find that people kind of like sell that stuff as passive income, and there's nothing passive about it ultimately.
Yeah. But it is scalable and far more profitable than trading your dollars for hours.
Absolutely.
We love to ask people who have online teaching of any type what platform you use and how you like it.
Sure. I want to ask you back. I use Podia, which has been around for a little while. They're one of the smaller, like not a mega platform like Kajabi. Right. I've been flirting with a move to Kajabi for a long time, but I keep not doing it because I have so much set up.
Very expensive as well compared to Podia.
Yeah.
Right. Are you happy with Podia?
Well, I'll say this. I'm mostly happy with them, but they have one feature that I like literally keep bothering them. Like, please, would you change this? Please, please, please. And it's been years and they're clearly not going to. What I really dislike about Podia, and otherwise I really like them and think they're great, but the thing that bothers me is that they don't let you group things into modules. It's just a huge laundry list of every little thing that's inside your program. And I have kind of a big program, and it's about an intimidating topic.
There's a lot of lessons there.
People log in the first time and they see like 100 things down the side and they're like, oh my God. And they feel overwhelmed. And I think I probably get refund requests because of this feature in Podia.
Interesting.
If I could just say, Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3, I think that wouldn't happen to people. I think psychologically they'd be like, okay, cool.
Yeah,
I see
visually.
The path.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my complaint. But I think what I do really like is that, it has a lot of features. I personally want the control of building my own landing pages and my own forums and doing my own email marketing. I don't want to pay for all of that stuff through my teaching platform because I want to have the control. But those features exist in Podia if you need them, if you're like really early days. And what's really nice is you can kind of link one program to another. So if you have different offerings, when somebody buys this course, you can have Podia show them, oh, if you bought this, you might also like this. And that's really helpful.
Those are called either order bumps or bundling or upselling. All that follow-on built in to a course platform is really helpful.
Yeah, that stuff is nice. And I find the platform very easy to use. I mean, I can throw up a new 1 hour, session really fast.
Yeah, it's pretty simple.
So I like it for that. I've had people who like have to wait for somebody who's a contractor to like do some programming before they can make updates. I'm like, oh, that's for the birds. I don't want any of that.
Definitely not. definitely not. That really holds you back because sometimes it's just a little thing that you need to take care of. And if you're able to do it yourself on your own platform, it's helpful.
Absolutely. You want those I mean, I like to just do it now while I'm thinking about it. I don't like to have a big laundry list that's like chasing me around. So yeah,
Right.
it's
Yeah.
it's nice to make changes as
Yeah.
they come to
Podia
mind.
is a nice, simple, it is one of the low key platforms.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. I have classes on there too, as well.
Oh, cool.
As
Nice.
well as a million other platforms because that's what I get to do is try them all out so I can tell people about them, right?
Wow. Do you have a favorite lyric? I'm just curious.
I don't think it's like asking about your favorite child. They all do they all do very different, well, they all try to do things similarly and they all do them a little bit differently, and some of them, every single one I've tried has at least one thing that makes me insane and drives me buggy. For instance, Podia, when I get a student comment, it doesn't show me the student comment in line with the lesson. And I have art classes where I've got, lists or photos, and I've asked them to choose one to do a critique of, and I get the critique and I don't know which one they're talking about.
Oh no.
Right? Without figuring out what class they're in. And it is so, that's just a little thing that wouldn't bother most people. It depends on what you're looking for. If you're starting from scratch, Sendler is one of my favorites.
Huh. Okay.
You can build, and it's kind of an all-in-one. You can build a full-on website that is as customized or simple as you want. Pages, whatever, blog can be on there. It's got the online course platforms, which do have modules in them. But it also has whole marketing funnel systems and webinar systems that has live Zoom built in, and calendaring systems so you can do live coaching. They just added a community feature that actually looks like it might be pretty good. And email marketing. So it's kind of an all-in-one. I also use, for the Academy's private membership, we use Mighty Networks.
Okay.
They started out as a community platform, and then they added in courses. So I have yet to see anybody who does community better than they do. But on the other hand, they don't really have email marketing. You can't really edit the landing page like you want to, and their payment processing systems I find them very clunky. I mean, I have a lot of classes where I want to offer on one page this price and a payment plan if you want to, and then I do social justice pricing, so I want different pricing levels all on one platform, on one for one course.
Yeah.
And that's hard to find. Anyway, we're kind of off topic a little bit, but not really.
Sorry, that was me.
No, this is what we do in this podcast. How the sausage is made is part of what this podcast is about. We love going down the rabbit holes this way. This is really good. Let's get back though to let's talk about some of the tax implications, some of the money management things. What is the shortcoming or the mistake that you see most often with the creatives who come in and work with you?
I think probably the biggest one is just kind of not having it front of mind enough that what you're operating is a business. I mean, if you start a lawn mowing company or there's a lot of things that are straightforwardly business, and the people who are operating those things, they are well aware that it's a business. But I think a lot of people like us start to do a thing out of passion. And of course, that's who I want to serve. That's who I love hanging out with. Like, those are my people. I am that way too. But it's really important to recognize that when you're doing that, your best tax treatment comes when you are operating as a business, not something else, not a hobby, not a nonprofit. So, I mean, those have their role, but they're generally not what a solo person is doing. And so really putting it in the front of your mind, you are seen by the IRS as a business. even if you don't quite fully realize you are a business, that becomes a framework that helps you kind of put in, oh, okay, so these are deductions on my taxes that I'm spending money on here. Like I should be tracking these. Or, oh, I need a separate bank account because that's going to actually help me manage my money in a more like understandable, clean way. A lot of like one of the sort of technical mistakes that people make, not because they're, lacking, just they don't have the information, is that opening a separate account for your practice, for your business is key. It's like a key first move, because when you do that, what it unlocks is it creates a record for you. It becomes the basis of your bookkeeping. So once you have a separate business bank account, now you can deposit all the money that you make from that activity into that account, and you spend your expenses, your deductible expenses, out of that account. And now if you just think about what that bank statement looks like that you're creating, everything going in and coming out is business. And so now it's all clean. And now you don't have that nightmare that I used to have when I started out of like printing out my bank statements and going through them with a highlighter, like, shoot, I think that trip to Lowe's was for our business. I'm not sure,
Right. Right. I think there's something that switches in your mind too when you go from I'm just trying to side gig out to I'm a business person, right? Treat
Absolutely.
yourself as a professional and act accordingly.
Absolutely. And also, I think it feels like there's gatekeeping around businesses, but I just want everyone here to know that from the perspective of the IRS, you've already started. Like you're already in business. There's no like, oh, I'll be a business, I'll be official when this special magical moment happens. That's actually not how it works with your taxes.
So they can treat you like a business even if you're not a registered sole proprietor or LLC.
Correct. The IRS does not require any registration. It doesn't require an LLC. It doesn't even require business insurance. Like all those things that are shoulds on your list, not required for the IRS. And also just like think about it for a moment from the IRS perspective, and it will unlock something for you. The IRS is not looking to say, oh no, hold up, not yet. The IRS is the tax collector. They're looking to say, oh yeah, you're already in here. Come on in. We'll take the money, right? Like we're going to take our cut. So the IRS is tracking you instantly. And it's much better for you to know that than to be like, oh no, but I haven't formed an LLC yet, or I haven't, filed a DBA. Like, no, you're a business before any of that stuff happens to the IRS. So it behooves you to know that, and then to actually take advantage of what you get to take advantage of, which is completely tax-free expenses of running your business, which is kind of an amazing benefit.
Right. And it's like I said, there's a whole long, hundreds of lessons course on this because there is really so much to learn. But some of those simple things, your mileage, when I took the money boot camp, there were a couple things that I didn't realize could be business expenses for artists. And I love what you do because you're working specifically with creatives, right? So there's things that your regular accountant is simply not going to be aware of. So there were a lot of things I was like, oh, I did not know this was a write-off.
Yeah, it's so good to know. And in fact, the IRS is so generous. I know we're really kind of fed a narrative. I'm not going to get political here, but there's a narrative coming at us that says taxes are bad, we should hate them all. In fact, like it is in the general interest of the country for your business to thrive. And really, truly, your taxes are set up to help you thrive. Your business is prioritized because by giving you all these tax-free deductions, by allowing you all kinds of things you didn't realize you were capable of doing, like startup expenses of starting the business before the date that you actually start your business. In other words, the IRS has a retroactive category for you. Like, amazing. Did you know that? Like a lot of people miss that one. So it's really good to know how it works because there's all this stuff that people don't take advantage of that they could be saving money with, which is probably a good moment for me to just pull out this little visual that I have. Is that all right? I realize
Absolutely.
that people on
We'll
the
describe
podcast
it.
on the podcast, people are not going to hear
The
this.
rainbow chart. I love this. I love this. This is one of the prettiest lead magnets I've ever seen in my life. Why don't you describe
Thank
it
you.
for our listeners?
Sure. So this is such a core issue that we don't recognize everything that is deductible in our business. So I created this, yes, rainbow colored, very, very pretty visual guide to your tax deductions. And I have 9 different versions for all different types of creative businesses. So you can kind of like get it and pick the one that fits you the best. But it's kind of like a translation tool, because what I find is that we tend to kind of get in our little lane and we speak the language of everyone in our lane, but that doesn't necessarily translate that easily to the language of the IRS. So this is a translator where the rainbow colored thing is how you describe the thing you spend money for in your business, home studio, mileage, meals with business contacts, things that are really like fun and awesome. And then I connect it with what the IRS calls it. So in this column here, the rainbow arrow points to exactly where that deduction goes on your tax return. And then there are some rules that are a little bit more complex, like cost of goods sold and, inventory, home office, home studio. So some of the rules are a little more complex, and I have those all written out down the side just so that you can kind of take this 1-page resource and print it out and just have it by your tax stuff and be like, okay, cool. Now I know how to take the home office deduction because it's on there.
We will have this link in the show notes, in the descriptions, because you all need to go get it. It was, first of all, it's pretty. But second of all, it's actually really helpful. It helped me. My whole accounting system is as easy as possible, and I just have tax categories.
That's great.
And whatever expenses come in, I download them from the bank and just categorize them straight into whatever tax category they go into. And it makes everything, when it's tax time, you click a button and make a report. And it makes so easy.
I love that. I mean, that's the way to do it, because then if you're doing categories that don't correspond to your taxes, then what you're doing is creating a sorting project for yourself at tax time. If you set up your categories in the way that the IRS has them set up, your tax time gets really easy because they're already there. You just have to total the columns. So
it makes it so much easier. So much easier. And so because we're teachers, I mean, you're teaching taxes and accounting. I'm teaching how to build online courses, kind of things. But we also realize that people learn in different ways. Some of us just watching and listening to a video, it doesn't really sink in very well. So
for sure.
I've watched you do a lot of videos. You also have an absolutely amazing podcast and newsletter that all on their own, without the Money Camp people, she provides so much value. It is so worth going and checking those out. But you have something really cool in the works this year. Tell us about your book.
Sure. Oh, yeah, it's so exciting. So, I can't believe I wrote a book, but I wrote a book, and I'm currently working on, but by the time you listen to this podcast, it will be done. A workbook that is a companion to the book. The book is like the learning, and then the workbook is the doing. But yeah, it's called Taxes for Humans. Simplify your taxes and change the world when you're self-employed. And I'm so excited about it because it's just taxes as I wanted to learn them. It's like you don't need to know anything about taxes or money going in. It doesn't assume you know anything. It just kind of teaches you in a very judgment-free way from creative to creative. And just speaking of different styles of learning, this book was the occasion for me to do a thing I have wanted to do for a long time, which is to create visuals for a lot of tax concepts. As all of you know who do this kind of thing.
Are we talking to an artist?
Yes, they are so hard. It's the hardest work in the book. In fact, I knew that going in, and I negotiated. This was me learning a thing or two in my 10 years as a business owner. I negotiated in my contract to own the diagram. So all the visuals are not property of my publisher, they are mine, which means I can give them away.
That's a huge thing. That's hard to get.
It's really nice because it represents, like, the thing is, like, once you see a visual and it makes you understand, then it feels obvious. And I'm like, that's cool. That's the feeling I want to give you. But getting to that visual is so much difficult work. And that's why that visual isn't out there yet, because it's so hard. So it's like, I want to own it.
Definitely.
So,
Definitely.
But
I can't wait to see this.
I'm so excited about those visuals, because I just think there are so many people when they see, oh, buckets, oh, like spouts pouring out of the buckets into my tax bucket. Like, that makes sense. Now I kind of understand what that thing is, because, lines on a tax return do not give you that sense of, like, oh, understanding.
Yeah, visual mapping and creating flowcharts and things like that help. We're visual people, right? We're creatives, we're artists.
Yeah.
And seeing that is a huge help. So there you go. You've got videos, you've also got written word, and now you've got the visual you're covering a lot of bases to help people learn something that's really, really important.
For sure. Also, I just want to mention that because I own these visuals, which I'm so excited about, I'm not sure at the moment that we're recording. I don't totally know what all of my pre-order bonuses for the book and workbook are, but I believe where I'm tending is that I'm going to give away the visuals when you buy the workbook. Like, you'll get them instantly. So just if that feels interesting to you, I just want to say that that will be something that I can deliver instantly during, while the book is in pre-order. So
this brings up another idea that I run into with teachers all the time, is that if I give everything away for free, who's going to buy, right? And I see you as being ultra generous with the content that you put out, with the content that you freely give. We'll buy the book, we'll purchase the class, we'll buy the workbook, sure. But everything around that none of it's fluff. Every piece of content that you give away is so useful. So tell me about the why of that, why you do that, and how it then works to actually support a profitable business.
Sure. This is such a great question, Lyric, and something I'm sure everybody listening struggles with. I think, one, it's in my nature already, and probably if you're listening, it's probably in your nature too. Like, I just feel like I want to be generous, and I want to be giving, and I want to support my community, and I don't want to gatekeep. There is a point where I do want to get paid for my labor, so, like, it's not all free.
Yeah, we deserve, it's a communal support, right?
For sure. But I feel there's a couple things in there. One, I really feel that, like, being authentic and generous is helpful, because that really is who I am, and it's just reflecting something real. And I think when you give away something really valuable and well crafted, that's very generous, like, for example, this visual guide to tax deductions, it helps people realize the amount of heart and soul you put into your other offerings, and it makes it feel like, oh, well, Money Bootcamp must be pretty good. If she puts this into the free stuff, the program must be good. And in fact, that is true.
It's all about relationship building. So if you want people to purchase from you, and as a teacher, as a creative, as somebody who's transferring skills instead of just a product, they need to trust that you're the person who will give them those skills, who will be generous enough to teach them everything they know to solve this problem that they have, right? So I think it's one of the key parts, that generosity and that connection that is true and authentic, right?
Yeah. And let me tell you, like, I continue to sort of wrestle with this. Like, as I went into this book deal and started writing this book and this workbook, I was like, I'm giving away everything that's in my program and more. Is anybody going to join my program if I put this all in a book that costs a fraction of what my program does? And I really wrestled with that. Like, is this wise? Am I doing something that's going to shoot myself in the foot? And I guess I thought, one, I want my legacy. You know, this book is sort of a legacy project. And I was like, I just want it to be amazing. I don't want to have held back in this book.
Right.
And the fact is, whether or not it's repeating stuff that's in my program, like, I want the person who buys this book to feel not like they're just getting sold my bigger program. I want them to feel like they got the thing. And so I really wrote the book like, you're getting the thing, not some like first step towards the larger thing.
Right.
But the thing that I had to really come to terms with there is that it's not necessarily the same person, right? Someone who reads the book is committed and who is not going to join the program. This is someone who is committed to reading every word and doing a lot of work on their own, because, you know, I'm teaching you how to set up a simple spreadsheet bookkeeping system, but I also have that already built for you if you just want to pay for me to have already done all the work, right? So like, these are two different people. So
you can also look at it. We always use the music metaphor. Like you overhear music that your neighbor's playing or somebody around you over the speakers, right? And you find music that you love. And then, back in the day, we would buy the CD or the album, right? And without first having heard it, or I guess we pay for the streaming, we do, don't we? But without having heard that, why would we spend a boatload of money for a concert ticket when they come around? And I feel like the live programs that they get, listening to you on video or attending one of the live webinars that you host is a completely different experience from the book. You know, sometimes you might have a chance to answer a question, or it's about the human connection part of it. A book is amazing, but a face is a whole different kind of connection.
Totally. I agree. And also, like, that book is going to be able to get into corners of the country that I can't access or don't currently have access to. It'll get passed from someone to another person. Somebody will check it out of a library. People will discover my work who don't have access to it now or who I'm not reaching now. And some of them, the book will be the end of it, and that's okay. And some of them will be like, oh my goodness, I love the way that she teaches. Let me check out the program.
I have seen people come to conferences with a book held to their chest, just like vibrating with excitement to take a class from the teacher that they have the book with.
I love.
It happens. I think they feed each other and they build on each other, and I don't think it takes anything away. Yeah. I'm excited for your book. I can't wait to see it. And again, we'll put links in the show notes. Well, Hannah, this has been, I wish we had another hour. This has been so full of really juicy content. I like to throw out a quick question at the end and ask people just for fun, because we're all creatives here and you can answer anything you want. What is the last thing you made?
Well, that's a little bit of a rough one because I lost my studio in Hurricane Helene.
Right. It doesn't have to be arty or whatever. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Let me think. Well, you know what? I'm preparing to make something this weekend. Ooh. So maybe I'll talk about that. There's a mega sale happening at my local art store. And I went out and bought some silk screening supplies. And so I'm really like feeling free about it. I'm going to involve my kids and just set up a silk screening station and try printing stuff. I don't even know what I'm going to make. Maybe it's going to be bookmarks. Maybe it's just going to be random strange things. But I'm very excited to just like set up a silk screening station and kind of experiment a
Go
little bit.
play.
I
Go
haven't been
play
in
with
that
it.
playful mode in a long time, so I'm really looking forward to that.
Right.
Yeah.
And on an aside, I want to thank you so much for the goodness that you have put into the community. You're in Asheville, North Carolina, where Hurricane Helene just wiped out the entire River Arts District. So many studios were devastated, including yours, and it's so heartbreaking. But we watched you and your media presence share the generosity of people outside and around. You funneled donations to the locals who you knew needed them immediately. So I believe so much in the love and the generosity that you put out there. It all comes back. It all comes back to you, and you have so much that is on its way back to you.
I appreciate that so much, Lyric. And you know what? Just circling back to the first thing we talked about and that like money mindset thing and amplifying your voice, like because of kind of working on these issues myself within myself and realizing, and having more income and building a larger audience, when Helene hit, I had an audience of a size where, and a reach that I couldn't have conceived of 10 years ago. And that audience was just like, we're here. We've been reading your newsletter. We've downloaded the visual guide to tax deductions. We're here to support. Where can I send $5 or $20 or $100? Some people sent $500. I mean, people were amazing. And so being able to turn around to my community in desperate need and just write a check to them for $2,000 or like just Venmo my friend $2,000 to make her rent because the painting job she just worked on had literally washed down the Swananoa River. Like that felt good. That was amplifying good in the world through money. So that was awesome.
So beautifully said. So beautifully said. May we all strive for that. May we all reach that that potential to make the world a better place within us. Hannah, thank you so much for the time that you've spent with us.
I appreciate it so much, Lyric. Thank you for having me. And I love what you do and the people who you're supporting, what they're doing. So it all feels so good.
Such a mutual pleasure for all of us. Well, my friends, keep creative, keep loving and serving your people, keep teaching, keep building the amazing businesses that you are so that you too can go and do good in the world. Bye, friends. That was fun, am I right? Hannah is a beautiful soul, and I'm so grateful that she was able to come on and share her wisdom and so much information with us. I encourage you to look in the show notes, look in the description, and follow those links and find those freebies that she offers. They are so valuable and, of course, pretty too. And while you're at it, if you would like, subscribe if you're watching the video, share the podcast with your friends, especially write a review. It goes so far to helping share this world and get the ideas that we are sharing here out to a broader, bigger, more beautiful audience. Let's make the world a better place with more creativity, more love, more kindness, and help your business to be super successful while we're at it. Stay creative, my friends.